Well, basically it all started back in really the fall of 2015. I know, going back there a little ways, but I was in the best shape of my life probably, of my running career at that time. So at that point, I had thought to myself, you know, I've always wanted to do a marathon. I mean, just one time. And at that time, it was just one and done. That was my plan. So this was May of 2016. So trained through the summer, and then come in the fall of September 2016, I decided to do a half marathon in Lansing. And when I did that half marathon, I ran my best time ever. I took over 3 minutes off my previous best time. And I thought to myself, you know, I am still in such great shape, and I just thought, I gotta do a marathon one more time. April of 2017, I signed up for a Toledo Marathon in Ohio. Previous time by 20 minutes, I also qualified for the Boston Marathon. I had a decision for Boston. Do I do it? It's just one of the hardest marathons in the country and even the world to get into. My pal Nick, you know, since he was doing Boston and I was doing Boston, we both were able to meet up and do our training together a lot throughout this past winter. To get out there with each other, we have somebody to talk with during our runs, break up that monotony of this long 2 hours worth of running or so. Boston came, so here it is, you know, just Boston weekend. We get there. Nick helped us out because he had been to Boston before. This was his 4th year, as a matter of fact. And, you know, making sure we helped each other, making sure we kept each other in check with our pace of the race. And it worked very well. First 22 miles of the marathon, we were side by side. And fortunately for him, he was still looking good. As a matter of fact, he kept going strong. But unfortunately for me, I think the weather finally took its toll on me with the cold. I'm not feeling, something's not right here. I'm not feeling this. I don't know how, I think I'm going to have to slow down, and just, my legs, they're not, you know, I knew already back at about mile 10 that something wasn't right with my legs. The fatigue that I was feeling and the soreness, that was, and I still was holding on, but it was about 23 miles, 23 and a half miles. I could tell the legs were starting to cramp. I was slowing down to the point where basically I was almost walking. It was such a slow jog, and I happened to come across right around in that 23.5 mile mark a medical tent. I said, you know, something's not right. So I went into the medical tent. They went to sit me down, and they said, what's wrong? I said, I think my legs are cramping. And as I sat down, the cramps came on full swing then, and I jumped right back out of the chair, legs up in the air. I said, oh, you're cramping now, aren't you? I said, I think so. Something's not right. So I sat there for a few minutes, and I was like, I gotta get back out there. I gotta finish this thing, you know. I just physically could not do it, and my legs were locked right up. I'm just walking this race now, you know, 2 miles to go. I'm just walking, and I keep thinking, okay, you know, I can still do this. I can still pick it up. And I tried so many times, and it just wasn't happening. And then I was just devastated. Here it is, Boston, and like, so close to the finish, and this happens to me, and it's just, you know, this feeling, I'm not a quitter, but at one point I was so devastated and so miserable that I just wanted to throw in the towel. The people of Boston, they could see the pain in my face, they could see that I was walking and I wasn't doing so well, and they said, hey man, you got this. They are the reason I was able to keep driving and keep finishing this thing. The people, the atmosphere is just unbelievable, unlike any race I've ever been to of any caliber. The people of Boston during the Boston Marathon are just unbelievable, just incredible. So needless to say, they drove me to continue the race, and I got, even though it was a walk, a very slow walk, I still kept putting along. And I got to that 26 mile point, so I mean, I can see the finish just down the street, you know, 2/10 of a mile to go. And I tried to go, and the legs just wouldn't go. And I did whatever I could. I managed to somewhat jog it in, threw the arms up in the air while I'm holding this little heat blanket. And I just come across that finish line with just an amazing sense of relief and joy, because hey, I just finished the Boston Marathon. But anyway, that was the finish. People ask me, would you do it again? Would you do it again? And at the time, I went into Boston just thinking, hey, I was just going to do it one time because the big accomplishment and achievement was just getting to Boston. So I went there and it was really, hey, it didn't really matter how Boston went really at that point because just being there was just the achievement. It went from basically competing to just completing the race. Regardless how I did, like if I did good enough to re-qualify for next year, I wasn't going to go back. I was just kind of going to do like the one and done. But I didn't expect to happen what happened, you know, so I'm a little disappointed and kind of want to, so part of me wants to do it again just to try to redeem myself on that course, but the other part of me says it's not just going back and doing Boston again, I have to do another marathon good enough just to go back to Boston, so that's just not another marathon, it's 2 more marathons, and so I've really got to think about that over the course of these next couple weeks here. You know, Faith, she's so supportive in my endeavors, especially the marathon, and she really knows that the commitment it takes to that, and I wouldn't be able to do what I could do if it wasn't for her support, obviously. And when it comes to coaching too, there's no more satisfaction probably when you're coaching kids. I hope I'm a good role model and everything to these athletes because I want them to be good role models.